Good afternoon. It is January 13th. The session just got started this week, and we wanted to do a quick briefing with you, just to let you know what we're seeing as the session gets started, what we're anticipating, what we expect to be focused on during the session, and how you as TCCTA members can be involved. My name is Richard Moore. I'm Executive Director of Texas Community College Teachers Association. I have with me Beeman Floyd, our lobbyist here in Austin. Beeman, what are you seeing? The session started less than a week ago.
Yeah, it sure did. They're doing the preliminaries here. They're getting up and running with the administrative part of the legislative session. We'll probably see that for a couple, 3 more weeks as committee appointments are made and members get settled in for the session. And we'll really start getting serious and getting busy with the actual process of the session about mid-February, and then rolling full bore into March and April.
So bills are starting to get filed, gears are starting to turn and starting to happen. We have Community College Day coming up on January 26th. If you haven't made plans to be there, I hope you'll have a look at your calendar, see if you can be in Austin that day. TCCTA will have a meeting room in the Capitol. Please come by, say hello. We've got some handouts, some handouts that you can hand off to your delegation, your senators, representatives, and their staffs, and just to share the concerns of community colleges and the faculty at our schools. Yeah. So, Beeman, what do you think if we just had a couple of main issues that we're looking at going into the session? What do you want to focus on?
Well, I think the first issue is funding, and we're going to get funding in 2 different ways this legislative session. We'll have what we normally work with, which is the appropriations bill. That is that money that's allocated through the existing formulas in law to the community colleges. And we'll be looking for our fair share of the state budget. As many of you know, we have a $32.7 billion surplus, but don't get too excited. A lot of that is one-time money. But I think that we're going to be able to secure good, reasonable funding for community colleges in that space. The second part of the funding issue is we're looking at funding reform potentially this legislative session. This is based on the work of the commission that we've been talking about this entire interim that's been looking at community college finance. They have issued a report, and currently the coordinating board is taking that report and turning it into statutory language. There are drafts that are ongoing, drafting sessions that are taking place between Higher Ed Coordinating Board and the Legislative Council. That's the group that does the actual technical drafting down here. We are looking forward to seeing the first cut at those drafts and working with our other stakeholders in community colleges to look at those bills and make sure that they serve the interests of you, the faculty here in Texas.
And just to let everybody know, TCCTA was very involved in the work of the commission and the advisory committee that supported the work of the commission, representing the interest of the employees at the community colleges, especially faculty and mid-level administrators. And we really organized our thinking around 3 main pillars. Just to make sure that as a new funding model is considered, that we maintain the integrity of our programs, that you as faculty are able to ensure the quality of the programs that you're delivering. We want to ensure equity, that we're keeping in mind the students that we serve and the communities that we serve, and that we serve the total range of the community, and that we maintain the diversity of our services and the students we're serving. And then we also want to serve the total mission of the community college. There's an enormous focus on workforce issues right now. Rightly so. It's an important part of our mission. We've always, as an organization, been very supportive of it. But we want to make sure that the entire mission of the community college is supported in any new funding model that may emerge. So that's really been the work that we've been involved in. And as the work of the commission starts to get translated into legislation, we'll be in touch with y'all just to let you know what we're seeing, to see what the implications of those things might be, and make sure that y'all's point of view is an important part of that conversation.
Yeah, right. The other big issue that we're looking at is academic freedom issues. These are expressing themselves in a couple of different ways. One of them is in the area of tenure. We don't have a tenure bill yet, but we expect to see one in fairly short order. The last day of bill filing is the March 10th, I think, is the actual date. It's that second week of March. And so we've got some time to see bills between now and then. We think we'll see one of those bills. The other way it's expressing itself in terms of our program issues is in diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've got some bills related to DEI issues. And those things are not, obviously, academic freedom and DEI aren't the same things, but they have a pretty good overlap. And they have to do with how we are addressing our student populations, where our emphasis is, and how we're teaching them. And so we have already seen a couple of 3 bills in those spaces. We expect to see more bills in those spaces. The good news is that you all have given us absolutely great guidance in that area with the resolution you adopted at the last convention that has guided our participation down here in Austin and continues to guide that participation. So thank you for being really clear and unanimous in your support of academic freedom. It helps us represent you better down here.
We'll provide a link to that resolution here with the video down below. So if you want to have a look at that language, that it'll be available there. And I think what we've heard from our members is that these DEI issues really go to the heart of our institutions. You're really talking about our students when you're talking about these issues. But also, this is a curriculum issue. Who makes decisions about what goes in a syllabus and what gets taught in a program and what can and can't be talked about in a college classroom? And that's something that we feel like needs to be addressed as locally as possible. And that means on your campus, in your programs, and between you and your students. And when things get politicized and put in these broader contexts, it really starts to distort the entire enterprise, everything that we do. And that's true whether it is a DEI issue or some other hot button issue that people are talking about on TV or in politics. So we want to make sure that y'all have control over what's going on in your classroom, and that has really been driving our thinking.
Yeah.
So how do our members get involved? There's going to be a lot happening in real time. What would you recommend?
Well, go to our website. There are a bunch of resources there. We have a guide to participating in legislative activities there. That's a very good guide. We've had it up for a long time, and many of you have read it a bunch. Read it again. It's very helpful. We've got our blog, and we've got a lot of other information about the issues that are and will be rising in the legislative session. Another thing is to attend our convention if you get the chance. That actual in-person, on-the-ground dialogue with one another is very informative to us as we represent you at the legislature, and really helps crystallize a lot of issues for us. Be involved at the legislature itself if you have the desire to do that. I think the more you all talk to your elected officials, the better, because they care about you. They listen to you. You're their constituents. I will tell you all that as part of the work of the legislature in the interim, surveys were done about community colleges, and one of the numbers that leaps off the page from those surveys is that 95% of Texans have a positive view of community colleges. 95% of Texans have a positive view of what you do. And that is astounding. Nobody else has 95%.
And translating that support into funding and into policy that supports our institutions is the work that we're about. Be looking for emails from us. We'll be sending those out as things are happening in Austin. And please understand that when you receive it, it really is addressed to you. We really want you to take that information and do something with it and be productively engaged in the conversations here in Austin. I want to thank you for everything you're doing on your campus with your students. It is a real privilege to be associated with the work that you do. Thank you for your involvement in TCCTA. Look forward to seeing you at the convention in just a few weeks. And if you have any questions or insights or things that we need to know here in Austin, you can email me at rmoore@tccta.org. Thanks you all very much. Have a good semester.
Thank you.